How are we, Ravens fans, Orioles fans? All right, so thank you for joining us this week. This is our main stream here on ravorisports. So we thank you for joining us. This week we are here, and it is the end of September here. So we're actually finishing up the third week of the NFL season last week. The new NFL season, not new NFL season, new week. Week 4 of the NFL is coming. We're down at the stretch, like the last week or so of baseball. The Orioles not dead yet, not looking great, but not dead yet. So we're still in it. We had a good Maryland game. Maryland did much better than I thought they would in the game this week. So I thought it was a valiant effort, and they still were successful. So we got a lot to go over here. So thank you. Welcome to ravorisports. Welcome to our broadcast this week, and we're going to go over some Ravens information, some Orioles information, talk a little bit about the Maryland game. We do have a channel announcement this week, and also just keep in mind our merchandise store is coming in January. So we will go ahead and let the date know. So right now we are building an inventory so we can give you great Orioles and Ravens merchandise on the website. So we're going to have our website up, and then we're going to have Ravens Orioles merchandise where you can buy it right on the site. How cool is that? Where you're going to get your Ravens and Orioles gear right there. Okay, so obviously also too, you're here. Go ahead and talk sports. That's what we are going to do. I'll start with the obvious. Let's go ahead. Ravens last week in New England. To go against the Patriots. Patriots, a long history, a lot of Super Bowls that they went through, and there is your score. Ravens were victorious in Foxborough. I didn't even realize they hadn't won a regular season game in a long time in Foxborough. How long that had been, over 10 years. But they were successful on Sunday. Ravens 37, Patriots 26. This was the main reason for the victory. This guy. Might have heard of Lamar Jackson. He was sensational in this thing. 18 for 29, 218, 4 TDs. He did have the one interception, the only blemish. 11 carries, 107, and 1 TD rushing. 5 total TDs. Lamar, I don't know why anybody's still criticizing. I mean, I don't get it. I think that's just people wanting to be right and not wanting to admit that they were wrong or whatever. This guy is incredible. He gets in the open field, and I usually just yell, "Forget it." He just runs past everybody. I mean, outstanding NFL athletes. I mean, go nowhere near him. He gets 3 steps. He runs way past them. So he's an outstanding in this game, carrying the offense, carrying the team basically. He was incredible. He had help from Mark Andrews in this one. Andrews is as steady as it comes. Tough. Physical touchdown catches, both of those. Not every tight end in the league would have caught those, but he did. 8 catches, 89 yards. And I said this last week about Andrews as well. With him, the most impressive thing with him, Lamar had a great day here. But it doesn't really seem to matter what type of day Lamar has. He always contributes. He's a solid contributor in the league. He's definitely in the discussion for the best tight end in the league. I don't see too many guys running around, and that's all due respect to Travis Kelce and George Kittle and Darren Waller and those guys. This guy is as good as anybody, I think, in the league. Mark Andrews. So he was good as well. Big improvement here, the run game. Look at that. Justice Hill, 6 attempts, 60 yards. J.K. Dobbins playing his first game since coming back from the injuries. I think he was a bit on pitch count, 7 attempts rather, and 23 yards. It looked a lot better rather right away. From what we've seen with Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake, this wasn't close. Justice Hill had the big run. Even the smaller runs where they weren't as effective, they did enough to at least free Lamar for those big runs that he had. So they weren't as reliant on Lamar. I think it's obvious now Justice Hill should have been playing more most of the time. So I don't know how much we're going to see those other two guys. J.K. looked good. I thought he looked fine. I don't know where his injury status is. I think they're just going to kind of easing him in. But I thought he looked great. The running game, I'm a little less worried about the running game as I was earlier in the year. So with these two guys carrying the ball for you. We still don't even have Gus Edwards back. I haven't heard anything on him. I don't think we're going to see him at least for a few more weeks. So running game, I think for me, was one of the biggest takeaways of the game. Very encouraging. Let's go to the defensive side where I don't feel exactly the same. Marlon Humphrey, I thought, was good this game. Marlon Humphrey had the 5 tackles. He had the 1 pass deflection. He had the 1 INT, 1 takeaway. Marlon Humphrey is still pretty good. I think he's been banged up a lot, though. He's had the injury at the end of last year. He was kind of banged up a little bit this year. Injuries, somewhat, but he looks good. He has a very good nose for the ball. The Ravens have two very good corners with a nose for the football when we talk about Marlon Humphreys, and on the other side, Marcus Peters. So they're very good at taking the ball away. I think that is going to be needed. They did have several turnovers in this one. I will say again, the pass rush is still an issue. Okay, Owe again, no sack. Justin Houston was hurt in this game. It was a little better. Justin Matabuke did go ahead and get a sack. Patrick Queen got a sack. A little bit more pressure, I thought, in this game, but it was more scheme-oriented, which is fine. They did a little better, but they still gave up too many yards, I think. I think you're still seeing that. Switch to New England here, and that's why, Mac Jones, not a very good day in terms of picks. I mean, again, no touchdowns and 3 INT. But he did have 321 yards passing, and I don't think he was particularly efficient at all in this game, except for when he was going to this guy here, Devonte Parker. Devonte Parker, he had a huge day, a lot of big catches, 5 catches for 156 yards. I thought he, made a lot of good, tough catches in this game. He was clearly their best weapon in this one. I thought the running game in New England, they kind of went away from the run, I thought, more than they should have, considering the day Jones was having. I think some of that was because they fell behind, but this is kind of what they do here. The two guys, Damian Harris, the big bruiser, he had 11 attempts, 41 yards. And Ramondre Stevenson, he's kind of more of the scat back. Harris is the Thunder and Stevenson is the Lightning. 12 attempts, 73 yards. I thought we gave up too many running yards, too. Not running yards, but they look decent running the ball. They're not stopping the pass because of the pass rush, I think, and I think teams are still running, but they're not giving up nearly as many run yards because the pass defense is so effective. But they were able to win. So that's good. And because Lamar was sensational. New England on defense, they had a couple guys. Dietrich Wise at junior, he had 3 sacks, and so former Raven Matthew Dunn had 1. They Ravens had a lot of trouble in the first half. They did lose Patrick McCarty. It looks like to a high ankle sprain that's reported in the first half. So he kind of struggled there. When they put in Daniel Falele, the rookie, he really hadn't played any. From what I understand, at least in training, he hadn't played any left tackle. So they put him in left tackle. He really struggled. He got a lot better during the course of the game. So that was very impressive. So even though they gave up the 3 sacks, Judon had the 1 sack. It looked a lot better. We're still hoping to see Ronnie Stanley in this game. I can say this: the fans are really losing patience. Every game he doesn't play, I'm hearing more and more chatter about this. It really is going to amp up this week if he doesn't play again, because then this is 4 games, and then a lot of the thought process you could have put him on an IR. But I thought New England's defense in this one was about what I thought it was, what it's always been. Bend but don't break. Don't make too many mistakes. Kind of keep them out of the end zone. There's not too much flash with New England's defense. Not like enormous pass rush or anything like that. But they did get 4 sacks. I thought this guy also, Devin McCourty, I think he's the leader. He had 8 tackles. He was key on that Lamar run. I think Lamar, on one of Lamar Jackson's long runs late in the game, he gets in the end zone. If McCourty doesn't play it right, he played exactly right last line of defense. So that was the game, 37-26. So final thought on that. Ravens offense is good. I had a lot of concerns about the wide receivers on the year. Rashad Bateman is really alleviating a lot of those for me. Devin Duvernay is really making tough catches as well. He's really making tough, difficult, over-the-shoulder catches. So that has not been a concern. Lamar has, you can tell they've been working together. I like that. His receivers and Lamar and his receivers have been working together, and it's showing up on the field early in the season. So that's why I think it's working. They're scoring a lot of points. So keep that in mind. So we definitely got that there. And so we are moving on to this one here this week. So October 2nd, 1 o'clock, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore. The Ravens are going to play the Bills. Both teams are 2-1. Bills lost to the Dolphins last week. Very close game. And also, they are coming in with their first loss. Still, a lot of ways considered favorites in the AFC. A lot of the media, the kind of the quote-unquote sexy pick to win the AFC going against the Ravens. Couple of things that they have, if you're not as familiar with Buffalo. Josh Allen is phenomenal. As good as Lamar has been, Josh Allen's been almost as good. I think that's leading the AFC in passing yards. He's got 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Josh Allen is his own beast. He's like a Ben Roethlisberger, but a better athlete. That makes any sense. Like, not as quick as Lamar, but when he runs, he's hard to bring down. Hard to tackle him, hard to bring him down. Passing wise, he throws great. He's got a phenomenal deep ball. He does a lot well. Outstanding, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen also I give him credit for improving a lot since his rookie year. I wasn't sure about Josh Allen. Everybody talks about, we weren't sure about Lamar. I wasn't sure about Josh Allen. Josh Allen is fantastic. He has got the receivers. Stephon Diggs is one of the receivers. I want to talk about Gabe Davis. In the first game, those two, when they played Tennessee, were phenomenal. And if you are going to go ahead and beat the Bills, this is the guy that you got to continue. Stephon Diggs is going to have a good day. He's one of the best receivers in the entire AFC. and he's going to have a good day. But you got to do something with Gabe Davis. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be Marcus Peters on Gabe Davis or Brandon Stevens on Gabe Davis. Can you contain him so you don't have that type of day? The secondary has been much maligned, so you got to control one of these receivers that they have. Buffalo lost last week. Big problem they had was a lot of these guys weren't playing. Dane Jackson, one of the starters, they're playing two rookies basically at corner. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde weren't playing at all. So I don't know their status yet for this game. They're going to have to come back. They're going to have to get some of these guys back because they're very young in the secondary. That's a big deal when you have to play. I think they're playing two rookies at corner. So Lamar's going to have Mark can have fun with that. Somebody like Lamar, a lot of good quarterbacks are going to have fun with that. Here's who is here. So they have those guys who don't know, and I don't know yet of any of those guys that are going to be back. As far as that goes, as far as those receivers, as far as those DBs, I don't know which one of those is going to play in the next game. Micah Hyde definitely will not be there because he has the season injury. Who is there? You see guys pass rushing. Von Miller, I think, has looked phenomenal. Denver made a huge mistake getting rid of him. He's looked great, I think, in these first couple of games. And it's also affecting the guy on the other side. Greg Rousseau, I think I got that name right. He had 4 sacks last year. I think this is his second year in the league. He's got 3.5 sacks. And that's definitely because of the attention that Von Miller is getting on the other side. So they have a very, very good pass rush. So whoever it is, whether it's Ronnie Stanley playing or not, or whoever it is playing for the Ravens, is going to have to stand up to these two very good pass rushers that the Bills have. The Bills, I don't necessarily love our chances in this game. The big concern I have is if you look at this statistically, Bills are number 1 in the league in passing because of Josh Allen, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, the tight end. They pass more well. Ravens are 32nd. That's not a good combination. We're so deficient in something, and the other team is so good in something. We do have firepower to match the firepower. The Ravens are scoring a lot of points. Be very interesting to see what happens. Bills, and I think also, too, they didn't win last week. So they'll have a bit of chip on their shoulder. We're not going to catch them flat-footed or anything like that. So that would be very interesting to see how that works going forward next Sunday. So hopefully we can win. I don't like our chances necessarily in this one, even though it's a home game. But we're always hoping that the Ravens go ahead and pull it out. 2 Ravens I want to see in this game. Let's see a little bit more from J.K. Dobbins on our side of the ball. The running game looked a lot better. I thought J.K. looked good. He didn't play as much as Justice Hill. I don't think he carried the ball as much as Justice Hill. I think that was on purpose to kind of have him on pitch count. I hope they can unleash him more in this game. He's going to be your bell cow. If you are going to have effective from the running back position, it'll be J.K. and not Justice Hill. But I think this is your guy. I'd like to see more of him. I think that's key for the Ravens to go ahead and go forward. You have to have ball control and help Lamar out with that. You saw it even a little bit last week. And on defense, Jason Pierre-Paul just signed with the Ravens this week. So does he have anything left in the tank? Pass rush is, from the outside guys, is abominable. Adafiowe he's just not getting it done. Justin Houston, we don't know what his status is for the game. He was injured in the last game. He's older. So if this is the type of signing you want to make when you have this is a need here. This is prime need. Having Jason Pierre-Paul. I have no idea if he has anything up to take. A little down last year. Maybe he'll come in with fresh legs. But this is what I want to see on defense. Jason Pierre-Paul coming in and he's going to play. There's no question, because there's no other recourse. you don't you don't have David Adabo yet. You still don't have Tyus Bowser yet. So definitely he's going to come in and get some real playing time. Okay, so there you go. All right, so we're talking about the Ravens and the Patriots, and also we went over the Bills as well. So we are looking forward to that next week on Sunday coming. All right, so we're going to go over to our next segment, Big 5 NFL matchups. This week, we always go over with our little broader NFL coverage with the biggest 5 games on the schedule that are not Baltimore Ravens games, our Big 5. Last week, I'm not sure that's right. I think I did because I think it's 7 and 8. I have to go ahead and update that graphic. But a lot of surprises last week. Colts won. That was a shock. So a lot of shocking results, period. Now we're getting in more to the regular season, not the preseason. Teams a little bit more crispy. And you got to show up every Sunday in the NFL. So here we go. Let's take a look. Thursday night game. The Dolphins, all of a sudden the darlings of the league here, going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 1-2. They went ahead and they won last week, their first game against the Jets. Dolphins are 3-0, beating good teams too. Beat New England, beat Baltimore, beat beat New England, beat Baltimore, beat Buffalo. So beat some good teams. People still aren't believing in the Dolphins. I'm more of a believer than a lot of people see. I still don't think they'll win this game. A little bit of an oxymoron, simply because I think Cincinnati, has a lot of talent. Their line is still a work in progress. I do like Cincinnati's pass rushers. My concern for Cincinnati here is I don't like the back end against those great Miami receivers that they have. I'm going to take the Bengals because I think they have firepower to match their firepower. I think they're definitely going to score more. And what's Tua going to play like here? He banged up in that last game. He had to come back in. So I like Cincinnati in a short week. So I definitely like the Bengals in this one. All right, so the Jaguars made it into the Big 5. So they're going to be playing the Eagles in this one. The Jaguars won last week, surprisingly, over the San Diego Chargers. Trevor Lawrence played well in that one, and the Eagles 3-0. A lot of people thinking that maybe that this is the best team in the entire NFL. It surprised a lot of people with being as good as they are. Trevor Lawrence is developing. No more is it where you just go ahead and roll over Jacksonville. Him and Christian Kirk are finding a connection. They're going to score some points. I definitely think they can win the division. And the Eagles, I think, look pretty good. I think if Hurts, I wasn't sure at the beginning of the year about Jalen Hurts. His development, I know they got A.J. Brown, and it's made a world difference for him. When you get a stud like that receiver, that makes a big difference. His percentage, passing percentage, Jalen Hurts, went from the 50s now to almost, I think, over 70%. I have to look at it, but he's been phenomenal for them, and I like the way they play. Run the ball. They have a good identity, unlike Philly in this game. Here are two franchises that looks like that maybe weren't what they were, but they're still good teams, I think. One good team for sure. The Packers, excuse me. The Packers are definitely playing against New England on Sunday. It's 4:25. I think this is the start time for that. I don't think Mac Jones is going to play in this game. That matters a lot. I think they could bounce back because New England usually does bounce back. They did a lot of things last week that they don't usually do. A lot of mistakes, a lot of fumbles, I wouldn't think they do that. If Mac Jones plays, I think it's close. If Brian Hoyer plays, I don't think it is. I don't think there's any way they stay in a game with the Packers without Mac Jones at quarterback, even though Jones has struggled a bit. Aaron Rodgers is still kind of finding his way with new receivers. Losing Devonte Adams hurt. That easy to say. That's definitely the case with Aaron Rodgers. And they're very dependent on the offense. I did see, though, when they were playing Tampa, they kind of like pivoted a little bit now, using the running backs more. A lot of A.J. Dillon, a lot of Aaron Jones. They're kind of pivoting more. Defense is pretty good with Green Bay, too. So I like Green Bay in this game. All right, so we have no idea where this game is even going to be played with the impending hurricane. Looks like the Bucs are maybe stationed right now in Miami because of the current state of the hurricane. So that's going to factor in travel and all that, etc. So the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably right now, against the best quarterback maybe there ever was, Tom Brady. Chiefs and the Bucs. Chiefs shocked me when they lost last week. They just didn't show up. Special teams was just horrible. They didn't have the kicker. They lost to a Colts team that was really desperate for a win. Bucs offense still hasn't shown up. I thought all year Brady was a little off. When you get older, and I'm about the same age as Tom Brady, it matters when you're an athlete, when you're doing stuff out of routine. He's missing Mike Evans. He's missing Chris Godwin. He's missing some of their receivers that were in and out of lineup. They were even throwing Cole Beasley in this game. They picked him up off the street, and I think he's out of rhythm. That's big time. That matters. I think they're stuffing. They'll get it together, I believe. And the defense has been really good. I've always liked their linebackers, Devonte David and White as well. They've been really, really good for them. I think they win this game in spite of the circumstances. The Chiefs should still win this game. I'm kind of liking Tampa in this. I'm kind of liking Tampa in this game. I like what I've seen from Tampa's defense here at the start. And one more here, the Rams, Los Angeles Rams, going against the San Francisco 49ers. The LA Rams and San Fran. Two teams with quarterbacks not what they hoped yet. San Francisco, that's really been a soap opera. They had Trey Lance there. They were going to get rid of Garoppolo and start Trey Lance. And then Garoppolo, for whatever magical reason, can't find a team. So they went ahead and he signs there, re-signs with San Fran after Trey Lance gets hurt. And he didn't look great in the game last week. I thought Garoppolo kind of stalls at times. It almost is like with him, when I see him, like the game has to be in the balance for him to really play well. Like if it's some days with him, he just doesn't have it. Stafford, not particularly great here to start. Allen Robinson kind of off to a slow start. Injuries on the offensive line, missing offensive line. And they usually don't do well with San Fran. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. It'll be close. I don't feel super confident in it, but I like the Rams in this one because I'm going to stay with the Rams. Two very evenly matched teams. I think, though, the Rams do have the better quarterback. I think Stafford, even though he has the starter, I think he is the better quarterback in this game. There you go. Big five. So we went over our big five games this week, and we did go ahead and go over that. Definitely check out the games on Sunday. A little quick commentary. Going to shift gears a little bit here to Maryland football. So last week, on Saturday, if you are watched the big noon Saturday broadcast with Urban Meyer, Matt Knight, Gus Johnson. So it's cool to see Maryland even in a game like that where with big national featuring in it. It was very cool to see Maryland in like that. This was a lot closer than I expected. I thought Mike Loxley really did a good job against Jim Harbaugh as coach. They just didn't allow J.J. McCarty, the Wolverines quarterback, to really throw the ball deep. And so they just forced them to go underneath. And so forced them to make mistakes. And so the game was close. I mean, Maryland had a lead in the game. I think what happened was, though, they have, again, the talent did show up. They go ahead and ran the ball for, I think it was 150. I'm going to go ahead and look it up right now. It was over 150 yards. Yeah, Blake Corum, I think it was 150 yards that he had, over 150 yards, 200 yards, I think it was, in this game. So 30, it was 30 carries and 243. Yeah, he really was something in this game. Maryland put up a big fight, so that's good. So going forward, we would like to go ahead and see what we can do as far as going against the better teams in the country. So good for Maryland putting up a fight. I mean, Mike Loxley in the speech after the game said there are no more victories. But let's see if they can build on this. I think they have a week off, and then they're going against a good Michigan State team against the very expensive Mel Tucker as the head coach of Michigan State. So definitely pulling for the Terps. And let's see how they can get to a bowl game again this year with their current 3-1 record. So, gonna switch to baseball here. From college football here. Who is the Orioles pitching MVP? Do want to make a little bit of a channel announcement here. We're gonna go to baseball here, but I do want to talk about baseball here for a second. So, the Orioles season, we're all hoping that it goes into the playoffs. If it does not, we are going to continue to talk baseball in the offs. So, Ravens Sports, our mainstream, is definitely going to continue to talk about the Orioles. We're definitely going to talk about, in the playoffs, broader MLB topics. Definitely the baseball playoffs. We may even do some playoff predictions as far as what's going on with the Dodgers have kind of ran away with things this year in the National League. The Mets are really good. Braves won last year. In the AL, Aaron Judge is going to, looks like, break the American League record if he hasn't already by the time you're looking at this. So there's a lot to talk about there. So in October, if there are no Orioles, and we hope it is, it won't change much if it is. If there are no Orioles, we will have some broader MLB topics that we're talking about the baseball playoffs. In the offseason as well, we are going to talk about some other Oriole topics. So we are going to talk about Oriole free agency. We're going to go over some of the players on the team that you guys liked. So we're going to go over the individual players. We're going to go over that in the offseason. I definitely have a lot to say about the craziness with the Angelos family, all the disgraceful stuff that's going on. I definitely have a lot to say about the television network we're all stuck with Massey. It's completely horrible. I definitely want to talk about that, but we're going to wait till the off season to do it like that. And we're going to talk about the Orioles free agency and that stuff. We're going to be pleased. So just to be clear with everybody, the Orioles season may be ending. So, but we're going to continue to talk about the Orioles in the offseason. So we're definitely going to go over that as well. So I definitely wanted to let everybody know that. For those of you who want to watch and hear about the Orioles in the offseason and things like that, we're definitely still going to talk about that along with our NFL coverage. So, but in October, again, if the Orioles are in the playoffs, then it won't change much. We focus pretty much on the Orioles games, but if the Orioles aren't in it, we are going to kind of switch to broader MLB stuff, at least for the playoffs, and then maybe not even switch. I think switch is maybe even the wrong word, but we're gonna go over some broader MLB topics as well, at least for the playoffs as well. Okay, so just want to let everybody know that. Now put that back up on the screen. Who is the Orioles pitching MVP in 2022? All right, so last week we went over the offense. Who was the Orioles offensive MVP in 2022? So it was Anthony Santander. He's over 30 home runs now. So definitely he's having a phenomenal year. Definitely by his stand, not maybe next to Aaron Judge, but he's been good. So he's been the MVP. And who is the pitching MVP? Disregarding, I want to say this. The asking this question on social media has been very interesting, to say the least. I saw people say the pitching coach. I saw people say Brandon Hyde. I saw the entire bullpen. I saw people say 3 people. One person. Who was the best one pitcher that we had? It could be starter or reliever. But I think the message I got was it was a collective effort. And I agree with that. It is in sports anyway, but I thought nobody really stuck out one person. So, but I definitely think there was a pitching MVP. If I'm going to pick one person, we are going to pick one person. So we're not going to in the middle. But I thought it was very interesting that so many people couldn't decide or try to move the question to something else when it was one guy. So there you go. So we're going to definitely go over this with you. Up on screen, pitching MVP. Who was the Orioles pitching MVP? So we're going to go from 5 to 1, 5 being the fourth runner-up, 1 being the MVP. Okay. Number 5. This guy is a bullpen guy, Dylan Tate. I think he was an outstanding this season. Progression with Dylan Tate. I think he could have a career as a very good reliever. I don't know if he's I was kind of thinking maybe he would be the guy that would be the closer of years to come. A little bit more experience in the bullpen. Got some experience. Really got his ERA down this year. Did a little better than we thought. ERA, I think it's under 3. It was very good this year. So I thought that he's got a long career as a bullpen. I thought he was very, very good this year. Throws hard. Really throws hard. Sinker ball. That's what he does. Throws the sinker ball. Very hard. Not that blazing fastball at all points, but relievers, like a lot of relievers, rely on that sinker. So I thought Dylan Tate was very good. He's 5 on the list. Number 4. I've heard this guy called the ace several times. That's annoying. He's not an ace. So I want, please do not call Jordan Lyles an ace. He's been your workhorse. I'll accept that one. An ace is Matt Scherzer is an ace. Clayton Kershaw was an ace. Madison Bumgarner was an ace. Mike Mussina was an ace. Jordan Lyles is not an ace. He's pitched for the most wins and the most innings on the staff. So he deserves a lot of credit. I think this has been his best season as a starter. He's not an ace because he's too inconsistent. He's been solid most part, but it's been up and down. I can't call him an ace. of the year. He's had his ERA is too high. But he's been, I think they're certainly better off with him than without him, especially with the injury to John Means. So he's definitely on the list here. Not the best, but 4. I think this has been your best starter right here, Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer in the second half has been fantastic. Really not a hard thrower, mixes up his pitches a whole lot. Definitely throws a good ball, mixes up his pitches, improved a ton from last year. So definitely he's been your best starter here, absolutely, in the second half. He's been really, really good. So Dean Kramer, definitely, it shows that you don't need to be a rock thrower to go ahead and have a good season. The fences back move helped him a lot. ERA over 7 last year. All right. So very close between 1 and 2, but this guy was 2. Carmelo Perez. He was ERA filthy stuff. ERA less than 2 this year, like ERA of a 1.3. Very, very good in the 9th inning. Throws with the left hand, throws the ball very hard. Perfect guy that you want in the 8th inning. Very good compliment. He was almost as good as the guy on the list with number 1. So he was very, very good, I thought, in the 9th inning. In the 8th inning in the high leverage situations. And he was a left-hander. So when a left-hander throws hard, it's very difficult to do that. ERA, as this recording, is like about 1.3 for him, microscopic. There's even a chance if he keeps not a lot of time left that he could get it under 1. Phenomenal. This is the number 1 guy, Mount Batista. He's going to be your closer for the next several years. Very good, Batista. Batista is the closer. He's the MVP. One thing, he's intimidating. He comes up. Not only does he throw hard, which is obvious. Way over 100 miles an hour. I've seen him at 102, 103 several times this year. But he throws very, very hard, and he's intimidating. I can see it when he comes to the plate, that he's a specimen that's very intimidating going forward. When you want a closer, an ace, a guy like that, there's a fear factor that needs to be there. He absolutely has it. So here's a guy who really kind of like just, was a 26-year-old rookie. He was in the minors, really not on the radar. Threw hard, really got it all together. So he is your pitching MVP this year. Felix, the Mount Batista, and those are his stats. Even that's deceptive. I think his last outing, I think he was bad around a little bit. He wasn't so great in his last outing. That even got his ERA above 3, but most of the year he's been under 2 with his ERA. All right, so there you go. And that is the Orioles pitching MVP for the Orioles in 2022. So definitely, thank you very much for joining us here on Ravery Sports. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and review that Bills game against the Ravens. We're definitely going to go ahead and do that, review the Bills game, and the following week, let's go ahead and pull that out for you. We're going to review that game, and then we're going to go ahead and go over that, and we're going to go into this one, Cincinnati Bengals playing the Ravens. So definitely we're going to go ahead and go over that game as well. So that's going to be the Sunday nighter, and we're going to go ahead and preview that. Now we're getting into division games. Now we're getting into the series. Now we're getting into the division schedule. All those games they played. Now we're getting into the heart of the schedule. So definitely, and we're going to go ahead and do that. And definitely next week we're going to go over the Orioles as well. And we're going to go ahead and get that squared away for you. All right. One last thing. Definitely keep us in mind going forward. We're going to go ahead and roll out the website as well. Soon we're going to go over again, give some information on that. So thank you very much for going over this with us. Let's go ahead and switch that music then. Here it is. There it is. Thank you for watching. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you definitely supporting us here at Ravorisports. And we're definitely going to go ahead and keep you Ravens and Orioles, all the Baltimore sports information here. Ravorisports is for fans like me. Thank you. You have a great day.